Well, good morning, greetings, and good afternoon, and good evening. Our British friends will be along directly, I'm sure, and hello, and it's, what is the day? Today's the 14th of July. This is freaking me out now. Where's the year going? My gosh, it's the 14th of July of 2021. It's the John Lavenia Success Mastermind. I'm your guy for today, Glen Henderson. I think our friends John and Shannon and Trinity are still on vacay. So who knows? They may we may get to see them down toward the end of the week or something like that. So that'll be great, and hope they're enjoying their time off and relaxing and having some good old family time. Calendar. Housekeeping, we do this just to keep us reminded of what's coming up. Hospitality Suite, right after this, come on around, and I've heard some pretty interesting conversations taking place in the Hospitality Suite over these weeks and months that we've been hanging out together. 3:00 this afternoon, Books for Britain with Mandy Anderson, our good friend, and Yes, for those of you who are particularly interested, and I won't mention any one particular person by name, but her initials are Lindsay Dollar. Yes, tonight, 9 Eastern, Networking Magic is back in black. Yes, I went there. I'm just feeling kind of strange, and it's iced tea. Still drinking iced tea, but we're having a fun day. So, who's here? The good Lieutenant Colonel is with us. Nice to see you, sir. And Suzanne, here's what's going to happen. One of these days, Suzanne is going to be saying, "All right, honey, come on, sit down, dinner's ready." And there's going to be a knock at the door. I'm just saying. You watch. See, I say stuff like this and people think I'm nuts, which I am. But then stuff happens. Edward, how you doing, my friend? Nice to see you. Linda Landry is here. And my newest in-person friend, Virginia Pipitone. Hello. We had such a blast here at the house. Last weekend or weekend before last, and Virginia was here, and boy, what a fabulous time. This is true, Suzanne. I am married to a lady nominally from Coventry. She likes to say, "Oh, I'm from all over," but your memory serves you well. I did mention that my dear Paula was born in Coventry and lived all over the place, with her career. Well, I mean, by all over the place, I mean all over the world with her career, and now most of her family is in Somerset. You know Somerset, Suzanne. The city of Wells is where Paula's mother and brother live, and as a matter of fact, Paula recently sold a property that she had owned in Wells. Watch this. Suzanne will get this. If any of you have ever seen a really, really funny British police comedy movie called Hot Fuzz, there's a scene in there, and you have to have seen this movie to understand. Paula's apartment window, living room window, overlooked the fountain where the hoodies sat. What in the world is he talking about? Well, you'll have to watch the movie to find out, because you don't get no spoilers here. Hello, Daisy. Nice to see you. Glad to see you are here. And Edward, actually in the U of K. So good afternoon, Edward. Nice to see you. And of course, the headphone-did money mama is here. Lindsay, welcome. I imagine we'll be seeing you swing by this evening at Networking Magic. I don't know what I do know what I'm going to talk about, and I'll talk about it tonight when we talk about it. So what's your point? Yes, I did ask you that question. What's your point? Reason I asked that question is sort of the topic of what our brief discussion will be today. I have of late been presented with a number of different opportunities, possibilities, business propositions, and things that I could do, deals and ventures that I could sign up with or enroll or start or jump into and everything. And the question has come to me, how to decide which things to say yes to, which things to say no to, which things to really put my attention on, which activities to really focus in and do to the best of my ability, execute to the best of my ability. And it's not just a function of time. We all have the same 24-hour period. And so, yes, time is a factor. I suspect that many of us, if we were to be honest with ourselves, would be right to say that there are many, many ways that we can think of to improve our management of ourselves within our time. In other words, be more efficient with the 24 hours that we're given each day. How much time do we waste on a given day? And I'm not going to go around and take a poll, but you know what? I am going to go around and take a poll. Grab a piece of paper. This thought just came to me. Grab a piece of paper now and a pen. And if you were to be honest, like really straightforward with your, I'm looking around because I'm grabbing a pen and paper too. Will you all excuse me? I'll be right back. I am going to keep talking so you know that I'm still here. So what I'm going to ask us to do is to grab a piece of paper and a pen, and here's what I'd like us to write down, just as a fun and sobering kind of exercise. I'd like you to write down one thing, just one thing, which you do frequently, consistently, on a semi-regular or regular basis, which you know good and well is a complete and utter waste of your time. You don't have to tell me what it is. But go ahead, think of what that thing is, and write it down. You got it written down? There's mine. Can you see that? Surf the internet randomly. Scroll. Go down the rabbit holes of whatever topic or thing that, or shiny object that flashes across my eyes. And I know I do it frequently on a regular or semi-regular basis, and I know that it is a complete waste of my time. Now, there's some work that we do online which is helpful, which is useful to our business or to whatever the thing is that we're seeking to accomplish. So what was your thing that you wrote down? Have a look at it there. And here's a little challenge for us. For the next week, and by the way, this is not the topic. This is bonus material. You're getting this for free. You're getting this little challenge for free. Whatever that thing is, that activity that you wrote down, which you do on a regular or semi-regular basis, and which you know is a complete waste of your time, which serves you in no useful way. For the next week, commit to doing that thing half as often as you did it last week. You notice I didn't say, cut it out, quit it, stop doing that thing, cold turkey. Just do it half as often. For the next week, do it half as often. Give it half as much time or energy or whatever it was. Do it half as much as you did last week and see what happens. Oh, and by the way, the best way I know of to get rid of a bad habit is to replace it with a better habit. So find something in that, I don't know, let's say this thing you do 5 hours a week, or whatever this thing is. It ends up being about 5 hours a week. Come up with something that you can do for, say, 2 to 3 hours out of that time that's really beneficial to. Oh, I know. Read a couple of chapters in a personal development book. For instance, if you work in a sales profession, of those 5 hours a week, take 2 of those hours, 3 of those hours per week, and spend those hours turning over rocks. What do I mean by turning over rocks? Making calls, sending text messages, sending emails, creating your email follow-up sequence, if that's something you use with an email autoresponder, and spend the time reaching out to people in aid of sharing your product, your service, your opportunity, your websites, whatever it is that you do, that you offer to the public as a means of adding increase to other people's lives, as a means of benefiting other people, and offering a service to enrich yourself, or whatever it is. Take 2 hours and spend those 2 hours a week turning over rocks. Prospecting, as they say in the sales and marketing profession. If it's 5 hours a week that you do this wasteful thing, take half that time, 2.5 hours a week, that is half an hour per weekday. Go out and take a walk. Exercise. Get your body moving, get your blood pumping. So you kind of see where I'm going with this? That wasteful activity. Take half the time that you've been giving to that wasteful activity and give that time to something productive. And see what happens. Okay, there's your free bonus material. Now, back to the thing. What's your point? We're all presented with all kinds of opportunities to put our attention on new things, to invest in this, or buy that, or enroll in the other, or start another program. How do you decide? Well, I know one way, and I picked it up from a book that I'm reading right now called by Mr. Jack Canfield, called The Success Principles. Anybody know this book? Have read this book? It's a good one. It's a good one. Jack Canfield, The Success Principles, how to get from where you are to where you want to be. Pretty good, right? Here's principle number 2. You ready? Here's one way to help you decide which direction to go, what to take up in your life. Principle number 2, as Jack Canfield says, be clear why you're here. Why you're where. Be clear why I'm where. What are you talking about? Be clear. Here's what it means. Be clear, get clear about why you were put on this earth in the first place. What's your purpose? What is your major No, not your job, No, not your career. No, not what kind of house you live in or where you live or what kind of car you drive or how much money you're supposed to have. No. Why are you here? Let's get right down to it, shall we? There's going to be something written on your headstone. What would you like that to be? So people look back on my life. What is it I want them to say? Glen was what? That's what I'm talking about when I say, what's your point? What is the point of you being alive? What is your purpose for being on this planet? What were you? Shall I give you an example? Shall I share an example with you? I'm here to connect. I am a connector. It's what I do. It's who I am. Even as I came to realize recently, even my singing career, which I enjoyed immensely when I was singing full-time, making music full-time. Even my music career, even my singing and performing and entertaining was a means, it was among other things, a means for me to connect with people. To connect myself personally with people. To connect people with their own, to help people connect with their own emotional life. Singing music is a very, very passionate, very emotional thing to do with one's life. And I found it was a great way to help people open up to themselves and to open themselves up to joy and such things. And what I do now with my home business and with my networking ventures and everything else, it's all in aid of the same purpose, connecting with people. Connecting people with each other. And connecting people with their deepest dreams and desires, and then connecting them with the resources and the skills to make those desires come true. Make those dreams come true. Make those desires real. So that's why I'm here. And as Jack Canfield in this book says, he says, I believe each of us was born with a life purpose. Identifying, acknowledging, and honoring this purpose is perhaps the most important action that successful people take. Brian Tracy said it in another way. He says, decide upon your major, definite purpose in life, and then organize all your activities around it. Everything you do should be in service. Everything you do needs to be in service to your major definite purpose in life. Of course, that assumes the first part of that process. What is your major definite purpose? And why are you here? And this is a question that we probably will not answer here today, unless you already know, in which case I'd love to hear it. Shall I share something with you that may let you off the hook a little? Just a little bit? Let you off the hook? If you don't know, if as we sit here talking, looking at one another's smiling faces, as we sit here right now, maybe you don't yet know your point, why you're here. Maybe you haven't yet gotten totally clear on your major definite purpose in life. Maybe you haven't maybe you're not 100% sure what your purpose is. If that's the case, it's okay. That is all right. And that is me giving you the chance to let yourself off the hook a little bit. That's all right. I know people in their 80s who don't know why they're here. I know people who go through their entire lives and unfortunately come to the end, let us say, come to the end of their days. And they're in that position and they're thinking or saying to themselves, what was the point of all this? What a terrifying thought. And it's one of, I fill out surveys every now and then for different groups that I'm a part of. And one of the surveys that I filled out to join with this particular group was, what is your greatest fear in business or in life or whatever it is? My greatest fear. And I had to think about that, and I realized that in many ways, my greatest fear is to come to the end of my days with a list of if-onlys. If only I had done this. If only I had taken that chance. If only I had started that business. If only I'd married the girl I really wanted to. Well, that's not an issue. I married the girl I really wanted to marry. But you know what I'm saying. If only I had done this. If only I had taken that chance. If only I had taken that opportunity that was offered to me. And whichever, and everybody has those thoughts. I simply don't want to come to the end of my days with a list of them. Oh, I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd done that. So, for me, the mission is get started ticking off the what ifs. What if I did that? What if I started the business? What if I tried it? What if I learned a new language? What if I'd traveled to that different state or different country? What if I reached out and introduced myself to that person? Start doing those things which I don't want to come to the end of my life wishing I had done. So that's me. For you, it comes back to the fundamental question. Why are you here? Do you know? Well, if you don't know, how do you find out? How do you find out? Well, here you go. A couple of things you can do. Number one, to kind of start to get an idea of your purpose. List 2, and this is right out of Jack Canfield's book, The Success Principles. Number 1, list 2 of your really unique, very special personal qualities, personality characteristics, enthusiasm, creativity, empathy, humor, joy, whatever it is. I know that 2 of my unique personal qualities are optimism and friendliness. I can make friends with just about anybody. I can start a conversation with just about anybody, anywhere, about just about any topic, and start to cultivate a friendship with just about anybody, anytime. I know this because I've done it more than once. The other thing is, I said optimism. I am almost always the most optimistic person that anyone who knows me has ever met. And that's on purpose. We've had conversations about optimism, enthusiasm, looking forward to the future. Okay, so that's a couple of things. So that's number 1. Number 2, another good step to begin to clarify your purpose. List a couple of ways, 1 or 2 ways that you enjoy expressing those qualities when interacting with each other. What do I mean by that? For me, optimism, friendliness. One of my love languages, have you heard of the 5 love languages? Was it Gary Smalley wrote that book? Anyway, the 5 love languages. One of my love languages is words of affirmation. I love saying nice things to people. I love encouraging people and reminding people that they're capable of more than they think. Reminding people that they're smarter, stronger, more capable than they even know themselves. Congratulating people on a job well done. That's my thing. Words of affirmation. So that's one of the ways that I express things to people. And I know, for example, and the opposite side of that coin, I know when I'm not feeling particularly optimistic. Yes, believe it or not, there are times when I'm not feeling particularly optimistic or friendly, and I can tell because I'm not regularly giving out words of affirmation, sharing words of affirmation with people that I know. When I stop congratulating people on a job, when I stop congratulating people and celebrating other people's success, then I know that maybe there's a little something off in my worldview, a little something that needs to be adjusted in my own sense of optimism and enthusiasm. So I know that much about myself. What do you know about yourself? How do you express your personal, positive, unique qualities when you're interacting with people? Ooh, here's a good one. The next thing from Jack, number 3. Assume that the world is perfect right now. What does that world look like? How are people interacting with each other? What does it feel like? Design your perfect world. Remembering, as Jack tells us, that a perfect world is a really, really fun place to be. Describe it in the present tense. The sights, the sounds, the feelings, the conversations, the people, the kinds of people who are in your life, and the kinds of people who you are in their lives. What does your perfect world look like? And now combine number 4. For example, the what's perfect world look like? Everyone is freely expressing their own unique talents. Everyone's working in harmony. Everyone is expressing love. Everyone is supporting one another as friends and colleagues. What a perfect world looks like. Not bad, eh? Now, number 1, a couple of your unique traits. Number 2, how do you express those unique characteristics when you're interacting with people? Number 3, what's a perfect world look like to you? And number 4, combine those 3 prior statements into a single statement. I'm doing this, it's interesting, I'm doing this on the fly right now because, my thoughts are all over the place all the time. But I'm kind of going by Jack Canfield's first 3 steps. My unique personality traits, my unique personal characteristics, optimism and friendliness. Number 2, how I express those by words of affirmation, by encouraging each other, by encouraging people, by helping people to lift up their own positive attitude. And what's a perfect world look like for me? As that person, as that friendly, optimistic person, what does that look like? For one thing, people are connecting with each other in a friendly, affirming, positive way and helping one another to reach our goals, whatever those positive goals may be. Whatever those goals, as John likes to say, goals that are pleasing to us, personally pleasing to us. And we are helping each other achieve those things and improve our lives and bring that impression of increase into everyone's lives. So now combine all 3 into a single paragraph. My purpose is to use my optimistic mindset and my friendly and connecting attitude to support and inspire people to connect with each other, to connect one another with our deepest desires, and to help each other achieve the goals that we desire in life. Not bad. Not bad for a life purpose on the fly. What do you think? So, a couple of examples that Jack Canfield talks about, people who've gone through his workshops, what they've come up with as their life purpose. He references one guy who is a recovery coach, I guess recovering from addiction or whatever, a recovery coach and author who says, my purpose in life is to use my humor, creativity, and knowledge to inspire, uplift, and empower people in recovery to stay sober. Not bad. Here's one for a teacher, an educator. My purpose is to inspire people to have faith in themselves and to believe in their natural genius. Excellent. Here's one, a full-time homemaker to raise healthy, prosperous children who make a difference in the world. There you go. One more. Oh, you're going to love this one. See if you can guess the profession, the career of this person. To live every day to the fullest and give back as much as possible while appreciating someone special every day. What do you think? I'll read it again. To live every day, my purpose is to live every day to the fullest and give back as much as possible while appreciating someone special every day. What kind of career does that sound like to you? What do you think? I got to tell you, life coach, right? Maybe a minister, a psychologist, a therapist, something like that. You know what this person does? They're a contractor, a home builder. What? Well, sounds to me like a person who is not defined by their job, who chooses to define themselves by something other than what they do to pay the bills. Sounds to me like a pretty well-rounded person. What do you think? So here's my thought. Take a little while, if you like, and see if you can figure out what your purpose is. What's your main purpose in life? And there are resources out there. You can go and get a training program or a CD or an audio program or a book. So I'm not here to hawk anybody's particular system. What I would recommend before making any more major decisions about what to do, particularly if you're offered some kind of a new opportunity or a new thing or something comes across your path, here's the question. Does this new thing, does this new opportunity align? Is it in alignment with my major purpose? Is this in alignment with my life purpose? If it's not, I probably don't need to be doing it. And if it is, I need to take a close look at it and see if it fits my schedule, my current priorities. But I think this whole exercise of finding out our purpose can be extremely useful, not just for deciding whether to take this job or that job, whether to start this business or that business, but useful in terms of bringing us clarity, inner clarity, a sense of inner peace, a sense of inner directedness, if there is such a word. I know where I'm going in life. I know what I was put here to do, and I am doing that thing, and I am making progress toward the fulfillment of that life purpose. And I don't know about you, I can't think of any greater fulfillment in the world beyond that of knowing that I'm doing exactly what I was put here to do. Not everybody has that. In fact, I would dare say most people don't. Because as I said, how many people do you know who are basically going through their lives, going to their job, paying their bills, drinking a couple of pints on the weekend, or whatever they do on the weekend, hanging out on the weekend, going back to the job, pay a few more bills. I saw a meme the other day, something about, I don't remember the exact thing, We are meant for more than just to pay bills and die. There's one, which I love. There's one saying I love even more than that. It encapsulates this whole concept of discovering your life purpose, encapsulates it in the most perfect way I've ever heard. It was said by Mark Twain, and I'll open up conversation after this. Mark Twain once said, "The two most important days in your life are the day you were born and the day you find out why." Do you know why? Do you know? Do you know? Do you know? If you don't, go find out. And then live that way. John likes to say it this way: decide who you are and then be that. What do you think? Thoughts, impressions, comments, concerns, complaints? Henderson, what in the world are you talking about? I'd love to talk to you too. What do you think? I've been running my mouth long enough. Holy smokes, it's 36 past the hour. I certainly have been running my mouth long enough. I would love to hear from you. Do you know? Here's a thing. Here's a question before the committee. Do you already know your life purpose? And if so, are you willing to share that with us? If not, no worries. I'm just curious. As time goes by and I meet more people and have more different kinds of experiences, I'm always curious about this thought with people. What are you here to do? And more importantly, are you doing it? Lieutenant Colonel Wrinkle, what do you think, sir? What's going on?
Brother from another mother.
It's been a minute, brother. How are you?
Hey, man. This is a really great question. And I'd love to tell you I have an answer, but I don't. Man, what am I here for? I don't know how many times I've bat that around. And with, I'm looking at a robust group here, an august group.
August.
And we have a lot of various experiences and background. And I'm wondering if other people kind of feel like they're in the same boat as I am. And this whole idea about, what is your why? I think that's maybe not quite the same thing. The why can change for me. I don't want to say, like, depending on the time of the year, it's not a whim, but I do have some things that are more significant kinds of whys, family, friends, those kind of ties, the close ties, the things that drive us, that are emotional, in that regard, my sons, my granddaughter, etc. But, is that my entire purpose, is to be here and to learn as much as I can and then provide it out to others. I mean, in this environment, how long have we been doing this, Glenn? For a year and a half-ish, or so. And I'm participating as a facilitator like you. And the one thing I'm finding is that my Thursday evening sessions compel me to do more deep diving into things that are occurring around the world, to get smarter about things so I can express that or just act as a conduit for others. I don't know if that's it. I've kind of done that my whole life, and I don't know if that's if I'm in a state of denial, not in a bad way, but just saying no, that can't be it. There's got to be something more omnipotent, and I don't know, but I like doing it, and I have fun with it, and it compels me to keep learning and keep the mind fresh and active, which makes me feel I don't know, makes me feel I don't want to say younger, but it makes me feel like I'm not getting old and crickety, so to speak. I still get out, I still ride my bike. I'm doing some things that I've been doing for 10, 20, 30 years. And by keeping the mind fresh, because that's the thing, anybody who's played sports, we only have so long. The elite athletes, we wonder sometimes why they get paid so much. Well, any play can be your last play. That injury can end your entire career. and your body goes long before your mind does. Um,
What's that old saying, Mark? That old saying in sports: "Father Time is undefeated."
yes. And one of my sons, Brandon, just kind of went through that just a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Those guys were out at some park, and they had not been drinking; they were just throwing a frisbee.
Mm-hmm.
And my twins are now 32, so here they are thinking that they're 20, and they're going to do a little foot race across, and he
Mm-hmm.
pulls his hamstring. He didn't
Oh.
even do a warm up, one of those kind of things. And going, so the head's there saying, yes, you can still do all this stuff, but the body's saying, hey, dude, what? Are you serious? I mean,
Hold it up. Hold it up. Let's go.
yeah, back up.
Yeah.
Lindsay, she,
Mhm.
a gymnast. I was a gymnast in my youth. I can't do anything remotely close to what I used to do. Um, I'd probably destroy my body if I tried to do that. But just where do what is my purpose? That's such a great question. And
Yeah.
I don't know, is my purpose just to be here, to interact, to provide, be a conduit, to talk with others, to socialize in ways to carry information and to help impression of increase, just make it, make my presence with others better for them too, and better for me, better for both of us. It's a mutualism, so to speak. I don't know, man. That's a tough question,
A good
and
question.
can't say I have a good answer.
It sounds to me like there may be something, just off the top of my head, like there may be something in what you were saying around your Thursday evening session about becoming more informed. In order to do that well, you feel that you need to become more informed and share more information to help other people. Uh, Arthur Ashe, a life has no value except in the impact it has on other lives. Is that 100% true? Reasonable people can discuss it. I think there might be something to what you're saying, Mark, because we get our greatest value, or we bring our greatest value to the world in terms of our relationships with other people. Somehow, the connections with other people are integral to our purpose. And I don't care if you are a shrinking, hiding, terrified introvert. Your greatest value to the world will come in terms of how you interact with other people, however that takes place. So that might be something to explore, Mark, in how, oh gee, let's see, the nature of most of your conversations with people. What are the topics? Where do you find, in which topics of discussion do you find the most fulfillment? Or in which areas of discussion, areas of interaction are you finding that you're most enjoying bringing help and bringing increase to other people, if that makes any sense? So it may be something along those lines of what it is that you're bringing to others. I don't know. Let us know.
Yeah,
You
just
know. Yep.
just to follow up on that, this
Mm-hmm.
morning, for example, Glenn, and this is why this topic here is kind of interesting. We talk about there are what is it? There are no what's the phrase? Anyway, I, I'm just having a blank here. I'm trying to remember what that no coincidences. That's the only thing I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Here I am reading this morning that HSU, Humboldt State University, which is about 4 miles down the road here in
Yep.
Arcata in Northern California, they've just received a grant for $485 million to help convert, not totally convert, but to make HSU a polytechnic
Mm.
university. much
Okay.
like CIT or MIT or,
Oh,
any of the
gotcha.
big engineering schools, the academies, etc.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's why, and so to all the STEM, the
Oh,
science and
yes.
technology, engineering, etc.,
Mm-hmm.
mathematics. So I found that very interesting that, and then with the stuff that we're learning in this environment,
Mm-hmm.
hundreds, this is going to attract hundreds of people that are teachers, are professors that
Mm-hmm.
are dealing in the sciences environment. So I thought that was kind of interesting, and they're expecting to open those programs up
Mm-hmm.
or start doing construction, etc., in 2023. So
Yeah. Well,
um,
yeah. Maybe
I don't know.
something there.
Yeah, maybe
Um,
something local, help young
yeah.
people.
Seems to me, it seems to me I remember something about you were talking, discussing how much you enjoyed your military career, and I imagine you got a great deal of fulfillment out of serving your country, which thank you very much.
Yeah.
Who knows? Service.
Service,
Service is a
service above
purpose.
self.
Service is a purpose. Yeah,
Yeah,
service before self. There you go.
yeah, yeah.
So, what other thoughts? If somebody, I know. By the way, I know that I have introduced a very deep topic here. I've introduced a very heavy subject, and if the major result of my introducing this heavy subject today is to compel you to go running to the and have a conversation with the guy or the gal in the mirror, then I would say my work is done here. Because it's a huge thing. It's an absolutely huge thing. Every sometimes I'll tell you, sometimes people are nervous or afraid to clarify their true purpose in life because of what it is likely to mean to their choices. Maybe take it even deeper. Sometimes I might be afraid. I may already know what my purpose is. I may already know good and well what my purpose is in life. You know that you know that you know, right? What was it? The Rambo movies when John Rambo's commanding officer, Colonel Troutman, says to him, you're never going to be at peace until you come to terms with who you are." The assumption being you already know good and well who you are, what you are, right? Now, sometimes I may know very well what my purpose is in life, but I'm afraid to state it and clarify it and stand in it because I know that it's going to mean that I need to really take stock and purge and streamline and get rid of all this other bullshit I've been doing that I know has absolutely nothing to do with my purpose in life. And old habits die hard, if you know what I mean. But it takes courage, I believe. It takes courage to stand in your purpose and to act upon it and to live that way. Not everyone has the guts to do that. Do you? Things that make you go, Edward, how you doing, my man?
How you doing?
Fantastic.
Well,
Living the dream, as they say.
absolutely. The the exercise this morning that you had talked about being the time waster
Oh, yes.
and the things you do for time
Mm-hmm.
wasting. Well, that's juxtaposed against the life's purpose
Isn't that
because
interesting?
it builds on each other. One takes away from the life purpose, and the other helps you to form that life purpose. So I always go back to Zig Ziglar. He
Mm-hmm.
says, "Are you going to be a wandering generality or a meaningful specific?" And the only way you can be on purpose or on mission is to be a meaningful specific.
Yes.
And being a meaningful specific is an ongoing, everyday challenge. And like you said, courage is just the absolute thing that makes you really, really uh, uh, win. Because if you don't have courage, you can't even come close to identifying your life's purpose.
Indeed.
What you did this morning helped me to look at some of the rabbit holes that I go down every day. And, what you also have done is allowed me to think about, what it is I'm really, here to do. And, you could come up with all kind of platitudes and all kind of recitations and all kind of whatever, but you know what's true to you, and you know what you are going to stick to.
Yes, absolutely.
What I would say in terms of what I am on mission to do is to bring value and bring wisdom and bring blessings, I would say, to the descendants of all mankind. And that's, mentally, physically, and emotionally. So if you think about that, that pretty much encompasses everything. You live your life to impact others. And, when you impact others, you're impacting their descendants, because they'll go ahead and transfer that knowledge and that teaching to the descendants, because the error of their ways, they'll realize what they are. And sometimes, like I said, it'll never get through to a lot of people. But it's just an ongoing maturation, ongoing, I guess you go from embryo to being a, zygote, I guess, and then you get up or vice versa. I don't know how that works, but, you have to get to the point of being a full grown individual, and you can't look at the way you looked at everything as a child. You gotta look at everything as who you are now. And as you grow and as you mature, you want to, give those wisdoms, those nuggets, those blessings, those viewpoints to other people, so that they can give them to people that will come after us. So that's what I see.
Love it. Love it. Deep. I'm telling you, the profundities that we get from our man Edward every day. I love it, man. I love it. And it sounds to me like you've found yours, for sure. And not everyone has. And part of that journey is a big part of what makes us who we are. Stefan, how are you doing, my friend? What do you think? What's on your mind? Let me hear.
Hey guys, how you doing? I know I agree. I didn't hear the beginning of the show. I apologize. I was outside working. But it's similar to the conversation I had with my mentor this morning. I have a business mentor for photography, and one of my close friends. So he'll give me tough love if I need it. I needed it. With the show that I'm working on, let me rewind. Basically, he was saying, if I were performing, my talent is at the same level where he is. If I was performing with the same kind of routines and things like that, I would get to where he is and probably beat him. But it's a matter of just focusing. That's part of it, is because you're saying, you get distracted. Does it take away from your purpose? And I'm like, I have a lot of different hobbies, which I don't think is a bad thing, but I have the ability to sometimes use that as a way to get away from doing what I need to do what I want. And it becomes a form of procrastination. So
let's take a look at, so you know what just popped into my head? Something that we had discussed earlier. I don't know, you may not have been on the call yet at that moment. We were saying, to get a little morbid with this, there's going to be something written on your headstone. What would you like that to be?
You said your birthday is running out.
The thing that comes to mind is, would you prefer to have on your headstone, he had a lot of great hobbies, or he was a great photographer. Listen, either answer is cool. As you say, nothing wrong with having great. A man become preeminent, he's expected to have enthusiasms. Yep. Enthusiasms. But also, I think deep down, each of us wants to live our lives in such a way that when people are remembering us later, we are known for something. Sports fans. If you're a sports fan, I'm going to mention a name to you. Kobe Bryant. What do you think of? He was a legendary basketball player. He has other things, different interests, right? Here's another name I mentioned. Luciano Pavarotti. He was the greatest tenor who ever lived. He was known, these people are remembered for something. For one thing. Yeah, maybe done different things, different pursuits and everything else, different enthusiasms. But when we remember these people, we remember them for one thing. Maybe that's a good way to direct our thinking as we're coming up here to the top of the hour. And thank you, Stephan. I appreciate your transparency, man. I think your hobbies, I think your examination of your hobbies, what you're enthusiastic about, what you truly love to do, is leading you toward the discovery of that life's purpose for you. And so the question, maybe that question as we wrap up here, maybe that's a good place to start. When people are remembering me years, and you will be remembered, we all will, by someone. When people are remembering me years from now, what is the one thing for which I want to be remembered? What is that one thing that I want people to say about me? Well, that Glen, he was a great whatever it was. And your answer is going to be different from mine. And whatever answer you decide on is perfectly cool. And as our good friend John would say, yeah, now go be that. Thank you all so much for spending time with us, and we really appreciate you. And once again, the hospitality suite is coming up right after this. Mandy will be lighting up our brains at 3 Eastern with the Books for Britain, and then come on back, learn how, let's dig a little deeper in how to connect. Networking Magic this evening at 9 p.m. Eastern. Hey, y'all, make it a great, great day. You absolutely deserve it. Live long and prosper. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.